Chasing the Dragon podcast with your friend and ultimate cool guy. That would be me, Chris Smith. I have two. Actually, I had one scheduled guest, and I brought the ringer in today. We've got Mr. Silas Hart.
What's going on?
All right. And we've got Mr. Orlando Perez the third.
I'm the third.
Are you the third also?
I am.
You're both the third. All right.
My father and my pops. Yeah.
I'm just me. Yeah.
Chris Smith. Most like
original.
Yeah.
OG, you know?
You don't get much more basic than that. Joe Average is my cousin.
Exactly.
You know? So the idea with all of these discussions is a couple of things. One, there's a connection. There's a connection, an obvious connection for us, and that is the martial arts. But beyond that, the idea is to show everybody that walks the earth that we're all connected. It's conversations. And it's always great when you can bring somebody in who has knowledge and information that could help people. You know what I mean? Like, that's a great thing. And and again, clean this up for me if I say it wrong, but you worked in the insurance industry for a long time.
15 years.
15 years.
15 years licensed broker. And at the advice of my attorney fiance, any advice I do say today, go ahead and check with your local broker and vet through your professional agent.
Oh, so we have to pause really quick. So you're an attorney?
I am.
Man!
You're doing all right. You know what I mean? The last one was a daycare worker.
That's called upgrade, son. Upgrade.
Well, good on you.
Corolla to Corvette.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, all right. So this is even better. So I can tell you this, that I have been a benefactor of the insurance industry, and I've also, like, some people have been hosed. This isn't to throw anyone under the bus, but this is literally just to, like, get information that people could use that they need. Because for me, if you wear a suit, I already don't trust you. For some people in life, for some people, it's like they see a bald head, they see tattoos, they see a bald head and tattoos. It's like, But for me, I'm like, yo, them are some nice shoes. You got a suit. And you're smiling.
Right. Yeah.
He's either an FBI agent who wants to arrest you.
Yeah.
He's a salesman who wants to sell you something. You know? Or he's about to serve you some papers and you're
right. All of those things are, like, not good. So 15 years.
15 years, yep. Started in 2003. Ended my career in 2018 after 15, 16 years as an agent. Yeah. Wow. It was a long road, but it got soul-sucking, as we discussed on the phone.
You said that. That's a serious term. Soul-sucking.
It is. So you know, it's... Well, first off, let me tell you. Mm-hmm. If you're in any type of financial bind and you want to get a stable job, insurance is the easiest gig you can get. Not to get, you have to get a license, but it's the easiest gig to provide money because you're selling something that the law mandates people to have.
Right.
So it's like literally having a funnel from the judicial system requiring you, like, you have leads no matter what. You just have to go out and find them. And at the end of it, it just got soul-sucking. It was, you see all your people that you give, you know, good rates to, but they still have to pay the insurance companies, and they pay them for years, and then the insurance company has a claim with them, and they're nickel and diming your customer, your friend, these people that you care about, and you're like, I'm a part of this equation, and I fucking hate it. Yeah. So I just said, fuck this, I'm out.
All right.
Tired of working for the devil.
Yeah.
Now, are there types of insurance that are more Is it a cutthroat industry? Is it?
It's a cutthroat industry with other agents, because nobody cares about any. Like, it's all business. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you'll take a customer, especially commercial business stuff, big stuff, from anybody. It doesn't matter if you know them or not, because it ain't about them. It's about the commission off the policy. So, very cutthroat. But then also, I talked to my fiance about this. I'm no longer in, like, a corporate environment world, but if you ask me, as far as cutthroat, the corporate insurance world, there is no more cutthroat than the office politics of it all and all that. So even though agents are cutthroat towards each other, it's more cutthroat with your boss, with the people in competition for your position, all that shit. Wow. Inside, the person right next to you will throw you under the bus if it means they get an $8 raise. You know what I mean?
All right. Now, what about health insurance? And like, so, because see, I've always had this idea that it's like, they get you on the phone when, like, say if you're filing a claim, right? And they start asking questions. And listen, man, you start asking me too many questions, I'm like, oh, you're trying to, like, get me to say something that, like, will trip me up or slip me up.
Their job, right? They're in the industry to make money.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're there. If insurance only paid out money,
right,
there would be no insurance companies. So their job is to pay out less than they take in. So if they can vet you while making a claim and get you to potentially slip up and say something that would be against the terms and conditions of the policy, they get to deny the claim.
Mm-hmm.
So less is more when you're reporting stuff. Obviously, you have to be truthful.
Right.
At the advice of my counsel. But at the end of the day, yeah, the more questions they ask, they're not asking because, they need to know every single detail. Because at the end of the day, if a cop gives you a citation for rear-ending somebody, it's your fault. They're going to have to pay. But they're asking you a lot of questions a lot of times because they'd rather hear you say something that maybe knocks you out of the eligibility for a claim, especially health, workers' comp, all that stuff. I didn't do that stuff. But I mean, a legitimate workers' comp, like people really get hurt and they have to fight to get paid from these insurance companies. And they're legit injuries. It takes time. They, 10, 12 weeks before they start getting paid. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow. It's like, I mean, I get it. You go into business to make money, but at some point you got to wonder, like, at what cost?
Exactly.
At what cost?
Exactly.
Now, is there, like, certain, like, let's take a scenario like, if it was homeowners insurance, all right, and a tree falls on my roof and damages it.
Whose tree?
Aha. Okay. Say.
Right. So, like, from what I remember, right, it's been a couple years, but essentially, if my neighbor's tree falls onto my house, it's still my fault. My insurance company has to pay for it. Now, if my neighbor's tree's been dangling and holding on for dear life, it's my job to recognize that and start sending them letters.
Okay.
Stuff like that. Dude, this tree looks like it's going to fall. And then maybe I can make it their fault. But at the end of the day, tree hits my... And it could be your neighbor's tree that doesn't take care of it. It's still going to go against your homeowner's insurance. Still going to cost you more in the long run because you have to now, not get the credits, pay more because you had a claim, all that stuff. Yeah, insurance is a tricky business, which is why I worked with Orlando at night to, get myself out of that. Because if you're always in that preservation of your money mode, and as an agent, that's kind of how you are, your risk analysis and how do you make money, all that stuff, you go crazy, man.
Sure. Has there ever been a time when there was something where, like, say a customer puts in a claim and it's the right thing to do to help them? Is there ever pressure from above to be like, yo, you need to find a way to, like, we don't want to pay this. They're due, they're owed it, but is there a way we can...
Luckily, I'm not in that equation because I'm just the agent. So I'll make a first notice of loss, and then that goes to the claims. I'm sure, absolutely, in the claim side of things, there are those kind of conversations, right? We never know. We'll never really know, but come on.
Right.
Especially you have big claims, nobody wants to give $2 million away, right? So... But as the agent...
Especially to a bunch of poor people.
That's why, actually...
You got money, you got an attorney, and you'll get paid.
Ironically...
But if you're poor,
they
ain't giving you a goddamn dime.
Ironically, it's actually sometimes the opposite. What you want is, if I'm in a Hartford, I live in a New Haven, I live in a Meriden, where I'm from, if I have an issue with an insurance company, I want it to go to trial. because a jury of my peers is 12 people also from my exact financial situation in Meriden, and they want to help the local guy get some money from the insurance company because the insurance company already comes into that equation as the big bad wolf. So most of the time, if you are in that equation,
get you a settlement.
Oh, absolutely, and it'll be fair because they don't want it to get in front of
12 people
that
with a heart.
Yeah, because there's been. I mean, when you first start insurance, you look at those different things. It'll be like claimants request 70,000, companies offer 20. After litigation, 730,000 paid. That happens, right? Because the court then.
Well, lawyer's gonna take a third.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you gotta get more. Exactly.
So years ago, I served on a jury for a little bit. It was a simple thing, and I didn't want to.
Right.
You know, like. So
he looks guilty to me.
So here's what happens, right? So you get the notice in the mail. Look at report for jury duty, blah blah. And so finally, I had gone and canceled. And if you want to reschedule it, or like they give you that opportunity to like put it off. So I've run out of opportunities to put it off. So, here I go. I call the number by 5:00, and then it's like yes, and they said my name.
You have to be there tomorrow.
I gotta be there tomorrow. I'm like, So I go there. And I'm sitting in a room with the defense and the prosecutor, and
have you developed a plan on how to get out of this yet, or were you just
going thought I had.
You're racist. I thought that's the move. Don't you always say you're racist and then you immediately get out?
So I thought I said the right things, and I blew it. I totally tanked it. So
you tanked it, which means you now are a part of the jury.
Mm-hmm. So here's what happens.
Jury number 4.
So they're asking me some questions, and I said, wait a minute, listen. All right, I go, look it. I don't care about this. I don't want to be anything involved with this. I don't know these people. I don't want to have anything to do with these people. I want nothing to do with the decision-making process. I want nothing to do with it. I don't care. It's their business. They both looked at each other and they go, we'll see you Monday. I go, wait, did you hear what I said? I'm like, yeah, we'll see you Monday. I'm like,
oh, man.
Because they know that once they get you into the jury room, you're going to want to get the fuck out of there. You're not going to sit there and want to deliberate. All right, you're going to make a decision because no one wants to drag this shit out, and then we can get on with our lives. And how much time did he get?
You know what? I want... Is it the white in me that wants to be on the jury?
Probably.
I want to be on a jury. I've never gone to jury duty because I just don't want to go. But there's a deep part of me that wants to get involved in
if I was on a jury,
tumultuous murder trial.
If I was on a jury, I'm not gonna lie, I would block out the attorneys the entire time and just stare at him. Yeah. And I would just I'd bounce him. I would be like, this motherfucker do this shit or what?
Are those Air Max 95s? Guilty. Every D-boy I know wears 95.
Jordans, go to jail. How old are you? He's like 44. He's still wearing Jordans.
Those are 90s. The good kids wear the 90s. All right, come on.
So I'll tell you, it was interesting. I learned a lot, but I didn't like what I learned.
Right, don't get arrested.
And so this was an accident case. So
shit. Guy
and his wife were driving, and they got into a car accident, and it wasn't their fault. It was the other guy's fault. And the other guy, I don't know, I guess he had some kind of juice, so to speak, And we're sitting there going back and forth, and what I didn't know was that unless we're all on board with what goes down, you still keep going back. I'm like, man, can somebody make a decision about this?
Yeah.
And it's weird because, what they call it, a jury of your peers. And maybe that's true. I don't know if I believe that. Because, we don't all live the same lifestyle. We don't all, you know what I mean, have the same experiences. How are these people, was I the peer to these people? You know what I'm saying? So it was really weird. These people, in the end, got some compensation, but I feel bad that I ended up walking out of there thinking, man, maybe I should have fought harder because they deserve a little bit more. Yeah. So if you ever do get called, hey man, lead with your heart, I guess. I don't know if I would say.
I'm all about the transfer of wealth from big corporations to the little guy.
I'm comfortable with that.
So I probably don't want to be on a jury, or they wouldn't want to ask me these questions.
If you're sitting there and you're like, this dude seriously got fucked up. right? And we're like, you're paying, dude.
Yeah.
You're fucking paying.
But I mean,
you know, and then you also know if they're like, well, how many. Are you privy to the information of like, is this the first time this person sued an insurance company before? Or is this like a person who's like...
Let's say just who does it every other year.
Right.
But even if, so
you
like,
know?
if we're up, like, you know, you look at like a memory issue or something, right? If somebody gets in a car accident and they say, I have memory issues, there's really no way for anybody to go like, how do we verify this?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm in front of if I'm in a jury and I'm in front of this guy who's got memory issues from this accident and the insurance company has millions, probably billions of dollars, and he has 10.
Mm-hmm.
We need to go in and fucking gauge.
I'm gonna.
We need to go in and gauge if his life was worth shit or not. All right, because if he had a shit fucking life, this memory thing.
That's
like
yeah.
right now, like the whole memory thing. I'm kind of looking at it like a positive,
they
right?
favor.
Like if I could forget some shit, you know, there's a few years I'd like
You know
to
what?
forget.
You should be thanking God for drunk drivers, sir.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, right? Like, but now if we go back and he was like, "Yo, his wife's a 9. He's got 3 kids, 2 in Harvard, 1 at Yale." We're
Yeah,
like, "Oh
that's
shit, his life sucks,"
Yeah.
right? And he came from nothing, right? Then you'd be like, the whole journey would be great. He would want to remember that, you know
True,
what I mean?
true. And
but
they
if
do
he
that, you
was
know.
a millionaire and now he's like, you know, working at Mickey D's.
Speaking of that,
You
you
know,
bring up a
living
good
on his
point.
friend's
How
couch.
fucking sick is that? How fucking sick is that? That life insurance, like, so say like you killed me in an accident, they put a monetary value on my life compared to Orlando's, compared to yours, compared to hers. So
Like
they
your social credit score.
How
China
fucking
type shit.
crazy is that if you think about it? So like, so if you're poor and you work at Walmart and you live in a trailer and you get just destroyed by
An 18-wheeler.
An 18-wheeler. They put a monetary value on his life
versus Tracy Morgan,
Tracy Morgan,
who got paid
$98 million because he got hit by a Walmart truck and because he was, you know, slower. So there is.
He lost his job on SNL. He couldn't.
So there actually is. It is kind of twisted to think about that. It's like they do have an equation
by your earning potential
to
Wow.
value what your life was worth. How crazy is that? And you think about stories like Kevin Hart or Tiffany Haddish, people who didn't break till they were a little bit older, and now they're worth 85 million, 90 million, 100 million. But if they got hit in an accident when they were 27, none of that would have ever happened because they would have got $100,000 for their life to their family, and it would have been
Wow.
over. Think about that. But so that's kind of sick. It should be flat rate, you'd imagine.
You
Right?
would think, yeah.
right.
You know, I was talking to an attorney this morning, actually, and he said, they say justice is blind, right? And he goes, maybe it is. He goes, but it peaks. And I was like, she said,
Yeah.
Is that true?
They do say that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. So, like, it isn't, like, to your point, it isn't, like we're all the same. It's all fair. It's,
No.
yeah.
No.
Like everything else in life.
Yeah. You know, for years, I talk to people, and I tell my kids, I'm like, I'd say something to them, it's not fair. I'm like, there's no such thing as fair. I'm like,
Overcome.
this is a knife, that's a microphone, that's a computer, I'm a human being. That's fair. That's just how it is. There's no such thing as fair. It's just there is. Now, if we're talking equal, different story, but there's just, everything is fair. If you get hit by a bus, it's fair. It sucks, but it's fair.
Everything's fair, meaning... to me, I raised both my kids like advocate for yourself, fight for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were having this conversation on the way up here. Like, you know, you have to learn your lessons. Life ain't fair. That's true. I might get into an accident and get 10 grand. The same dude down the street might get into the same accident, get 200.
Yeah.
He has a better lawyer who articulates better.
Mm-hmm.
And our pain might be exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's life is fair to you, I guess. But sometimes your choices play into that fairness, and
Sure.
you have to stack the chips in your favor.
Yeah. Yeah. If I wanted to consult, right? What type of insurance should I, like, if I wanted life insurance? What do I get? Just like, is it a blanket policy, standard policy?
So I wasn't a life and health guy, but always from what the rule was back in the day was like you want to be like 3 to 5 times your annual worth in your life insurance, and you get, if you're young, you can get whole, you can get term, all these different things. I have like a couple policies that are term, meaning they were flat rate for 20 years. And then after 20 years, if I don't die, gotcha, bitch, they took all my money. You know what I mean? Like, it ends, right? If I don't die in that period. But the thought behind that was, I'll stack enough bread working to where if I don't die by then, I'll have enough to leave my kids anyway.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But a lot of, from what I understand, like life and health dudes who do that type of stuff, they're like all about the whole life, and I guess there's ways you could like borrow against it. It's crazy.
Oh wow.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Wow. Do you have life insurance?
I do.
Did you sell it?
How much you got?
I'm buying it.
250.
Am I the?
Oh man.
But I mean, it's like if you think about insurance, it's like insurance it's a transfer of risk. That's truly what it is. So you pay for this transfer of risk. So it's like you want to not get fucked up in life. So you know if you total that $40,000 car, you can't afford to go buy another $40,000 car. You can't afford to pay $200 a month just in case that $40,000 car, gets totaled. But if you keep that car for 10 years, you paid $200 a month times 12, 2,400 times 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You almost paid yourself back, but that's the transfer of risk. You're paying for the peace of mind.
Sure.
So it is worth it. Like there is a very good value to insurance. It makes sense. Mm-hmm. But it's also for the big people, the big claims. Your house burns down. You get destroyed in a car accident and you're all fucked up on a wheelchair. Those are the people who usually take the L. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because what's it really worth?
Right. Yeah. Wow.
And somebody else gets to tell you. That's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah, that is a problem.
All your shit, your house, your stuff, you know what you paid. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That fucking picture of your grandma and your mom that you can never replace.
Yeah.
There's no monetary value. They're giving you $5.
Yeah. Oh, cold.
Yeah.
Cold. Simple question. Maybe.
Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Chocolate.
So I have
Dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate.
policy. I have insurance on my truck. I have insurance on my motorcycle. For years, they've both tried to get me to. So in other words, I have Progressive for my motorcycle, Geico for my
Why
truck.
don't you combine it?
They always want me to, and I've thought about it. And something about giving them too much access to like my shit. I've always been like,
You want that though.
I do.
You do because a couple things. It'll save you money. Put it all together always saves you money because then they make more money off you, so they kind of discount it down a little bit.
Is it
so
a real discount or is it a 10%?
15%, 20%, something like that sometimes. But then the other good thing is they'll also line up all your shit to where it's like the same coverage everywhere. So you go, so you might if you don't know any better, if you don't have an agent, this is why agents are still important at the end of the day. You might get a $25,000 policy on your motorcycle. That's $25.50, meaning $25,000 per person. If you got into an accident, $50,000 per accident. You might have $250 on your car. You go down the road in a motorcycle and you hit some dude walking across the street. On your motorcycle policy, you only have $25,000. So he needs $100,000 in whatever surgeries. Guess who's responsible for $75,000?
That would be me.
Exactly.
All right.
But if you were in your whip, you'd have been straight.
I see. Now, what about in terms of like? So, I have full coverage on my bike. I do not have full coverage on my truck.
Yeah.
How does that work then?
Same thing.
You still can split that up.
Yeah, you'd have full coverage on one thing and not full coverage on the other. That type of shit. Makes sense. Like I said, it's like there's the side of insurance where you see the shitty things happen where people get screwed. That sucks. The other side of insurance, which is you see shit get replaced, you see people's cars get they get a nice chunk of change for it. That's not bad. So yeah, you can have you don't need to have full coverage on a 93 if you got a 2010 motorcycle that type of shit.
Right. Is insurance when my motorcycle caught on fire?
Wasn't that in the gym?
It was in the gym.
What were you doing?
I was charging the battery.
And that it just caught on fire?
Yeah.
In the gym, which is like. If anybody knows the gym, I'm looking at the camera, which is not what we're supposed to do. If you know the gym, the whole building's made of wood. Like, exposed wood.
Yeah.
The entire fucking building.
Old.
Yeah, like, flammable wood.
Oh, yeah.
Did anything catch?
Just the bike. Just the bike.
That's wild.
I learned a lot about
extinguisher?
myself that day. What's that?
Fire extinguisher?
So the sprinklers.
Oh.
So.
Yo, you set the sprinklers off?
Mm-hmm.
No shit.
Yeah, it was crazy.
How'd the landlord feel about that?
Did every floor sprinklers or
Different
just,
landlord now, so I don't know. I mean,
yeah, so we good.
Yeah.
did like just the sprinkler?
No, it was
over the
localized. Just the sprinkler over
Yeah,
the
they
bike.
trip,
That
one by one. Yeah, they have like little.
So I was in the building talking to the maintenance guy, who's a friend of mine, and when we're having this conversation, the fire alarm goes off, whatever it was. And he's like, Chris, I gotta go look into that. I'm like, all right, I'll see you later.
Your bike on fire.
So I'm, he goes his way to go figure out what's happening. I go my way. I walk upstairs to the gym. There's a woman who worked in one of the units. It was a t-shirt shop, and she goes, these assholes are still working. The fire alarm's going off. We should all be getting the hell out of here. And I'm like, you know what? It's a good idea. I opened the doors to walk into the gym, and then the change in pressure, flames. I was like, oh, shit. So now, I never knew I'd never thought about what I would do in a fire. I know what I would do if someone wants to fight. I know what I would do if something crazy like that.
Rob you.
Shoot.
Right.
You shoot.
Yeah. So I just ran right in. I'm like, there's a fire. And I run into the building, into my unit, and I see that's my motorcycle. I look, I'm like, so I didn't panic. I'm like, I get the fire extinguisher. So I run down the hallway, grab the fire extinguisher, and it goes out, but not fully. It comes back, but the fire extinguisher is kicked.
Oh, no.
I'm like, oh shit.
There's got to be another one on the other floor.
Right. So now, what happens is there's smoke everywhere. Black smoke. It's going crazy. So there's people yelling my name. I can't even see them. Right. They're like, Chris, get out of there! Get out of there! So then, one of my other neighbors in the building, he's like, I got a fire extinguisher. He goes, gets it. He went and sprayed once, but the smoke inhalation, he's like, here, you do it. And he bounced. Right? So I...
Thanks, friend. Yeah.
Thought it was kicked. The fire extinguisher was kicked. The fire again. So now I'm like, I don't know. There's smoke everywhere. I can't see. I start to stumble out one of the other exits, and I literally run right into a fireman. And he's got all the gear on. He's like, you shouldn't be up here. I'm like, okay.
But I am because you're not yet.
He goes, you don't have a mask. I said, so give me one. Like, where's the fire? I'm like, I'll show you. So I show him where. Then the bucket truck comes up. They bust the windows. Yep. Here comes the hose.
You know those guys are dying to use the tower, bro.
Oh, yeah.
They are waiting to... It's like the SWAT team for the cops. They're like, get the SWAT...
They get the carrying a fire extinguisher on probably.
Yeah.
Dude.
No.
So then, and I know they're supposed to do this, but now they've put the fire out with the hose. There's water everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, another guy comes up, another fireman, and he just, with his axe, starts busting. I'm like, the fire's out. Nah, busting into the walls.
To see if the fire went in.
Yeah, but I'm like, bro, like, all right, sure. Is someone gonna fix that?
Is that not me? Like,
so when all was said and done, the fire was put out. No one was hurt. I had to wait maybe 2 days for the fire marshal to come up and give the okay
to re-enter the building.
To re-enter the building and to turn the power back on that level of the building for my unit. And then the inspector, I guess the fire inspector or whatever, he comes up and he's interviewing you guys, asking a whole bunch of questions, and I was like, man, like I don't know what any of it means. I'm thinking, am I gonna get in trouble? Am I gonna get charged? Did I do something wrong? I mean, I didn't do anything knowingly wrong. I'm like, where is this going? And when all was said and done, they concluded that it was an accident, because it was. And then the insurance company took care of it.
And they replaced the bike?
Yeah. Well, they totaled it out and they gave me I made out.
They fixed the walls and shit, or did you fix the walls?
I fixed the walls.
That you got the money for it.
Yeah.
That's another good thing too.
Yeah. So, but it was crazy. It was.
I always wonder what I would do. Like I refinished my basement, so I made like a master suite down there, and it's a basement still. So I always wonder like if there's a fire, like what would my route of escape be? But then also like I have a fire extinguisher right outside the door that goes to the other side of the basement. I'm like, would I even remember I have that? Sometimes I carry my gun, and I don't remember I have my gun on me.
Yeah.
So like you could rob me, and like I wouldn't remember that.
Oh, shh.
Like fuck,
Come back!
Come back! Like same thing with that. Like
for this fucking
you never know what you're gonna do in an emergency until you're like faced with that emergency.
Yeah.
So at least you know you were like you remembered.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, fuck this bike, I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was.
Can I throw some gas on this? Real quick?
Yeah, exactly.
How much is my policy for?
Yeah, exactly.
What do you carry? Or, you don't have to.
Gun?
Yeah.
I have a couple carry guns, but my favorite carry lately, M&P Bodyguard 380.
Okay.
It's a pocket carry.
Yeah.
So you just throw it in your pocket. It's the best. But
Right.
normally a Glock 2240 cal.
Okay.
You know, a little stopping power.
Yeah.
You know. But the M&P is the best because like I just like always remember to throw it in my pocket.
Sure.
And you can't even really tell it's there a lot of the time.
Right.
You know?
I know a couple of guys who have like they're a fan of the pocket style gun.
Yeah.
Oh, you want my money?
Exactly. Exactly.
I like the MMPs. They just came out with a new one.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
And they're cheap too. Like you can get a 380 for $299.
Wow. Yeah. And I like the Glock, and then I just recently dabbled in it. You know what I mean? But I like the Glock. I like the MMP.
If I got a gun, it's got to stay at home.
You're a loose cannon.
A loose cannon is a bit rough, bro.
Psycho.
What are you talking about? I have calmed quite a bit down over the
Everybody
years.
who knows this man, you're like, I've just watched him like randomly punch him, and like, I was watching the conversation. It was like they were laughing, and then all of a sudden you just see a jab to the dude's face. Like,
Because that's how it goes down sometimes, okay?
So what's funny about that is
Because I tried verbal judo first. I try to keep the conversation light.
Yeah.
But then when you say something threatening, I take it as a threat.
Yeah. Anthony, who works out at Underdog.
Anthony.
He's black. He's a cop.
Yeah.
Physical specimen.
Yeah, American cop. Yeah, nice guy. Yeah.
So one of his lieutenants, I used to work with him when we bounced together.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna throw out this dude's name.
is this Red Door?
No, this was I did at the Red Door a little bit. This was at the Vault in Maryland.
Yeah. We used to all ages night there.
Yeah. Dude, I was probably there when.
Yeah.
So this guy, when we used to work together, I never saw a dude go from 0 to volatile.
Right. Let's give him a gun.
That. I'm talking. There'd be times when I'm like, all right, it might go down. What happened?
Can we just time for a second, okay?
I feel like you're about to throw me under the bus.
No, not at all. There are we've bounced at different places, right? There are certain establishments that invite a certain type of customer. Okay?
Yeah.
And in those establishments, Vault. Mm-hmm. Place that shall remain nameless for now. Okay, let's get some bourbon up here. Okay, those the type of people that go in there. Sometimes they just have to get dealt with quick.
Yeah.
And if you're expected, you have you're when you're the dude, you have to be the dude, and that's all it really comes down to.
You know what's funny about that is, and I always think about this in my normal life, like this stuff. I'm pretty patient. And people can say some pretty weird shit to me that's disrespectful, and I don't really get affected by it. I might get into it a little bit, but I don't get aggressive. Bouncing, it was like I had zero patience. And it was like you put on the hat the minute you walk in the door. That it's like I'm gonna say it one time, and there's no second time.
Yeah.
There is no second time.
Sure.
The next time I say it,
then I tell.
Yeah.
Then you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. You know something? I can remember kicking
and that's
guys
how you
out.
stay safe, though.
Yeah, you have to.
Because if you let people go too far, especially depending on your environment, if you're in an urban nightclub, if you're in an adult, entertainment establishment, depending on where you are, it's not like I'm in West Hartford Center and they're gonna I'm gonna give you a bad Yelp review.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So to elaborate on that story, which is the greatest story of all time, I was working at
Better than Noah's Ark.
Ibiza. Ibiza was Roadhouse for Polish people. Like they would just
remember
fight,
Ibiza,
and it was crazy. Every weekend there was a brawl and blood and all that. And I leave Ibiza. I'm still at Ibiza. I'm at Casona as well. Casona is a Spanish club in Hartford. Not nearly as bad as Ibiza, but still pretty tough. And then I get a job as the head bouncer of Elbow Room West Hartford Center. They say, look, we're getting a lot of like college kids coming in here, walking on the fucking couches and acting a fool.
You
with
heart
the DJ.
kids.
Just being, we need you guys to come in here and clean it up. Can you bring like a crew? So I had like 5 or 6 guys come in, and we came in and basically like the first night let people know, like, look, that crew that was letting you guys all in without IDs last week, they're no longer
all
here.
fired.
They're all, this is us now, so you're not, it ain't going down. You're welcome to come in if you're legit, and if you have your ID, fine. Act up like you did last week. It ain't happening like that.
Yeah.
And first week, the dude jumps on the couch. I tell him, get the fuck off the couch. I already warned you because I knew you were one of those kids.
At the rooftop part?
Yeah. He got on the couch again. I throw him out the door. And not easily, like throw him out the door because you got to set that tone. And and his girlfriend comes up behind me, and I'm used to like Ibiza girlfriend scratching your eye out,
crazy
Polish chicks trying to hit you from behind. And this girl's like, "Fuck you, motherfucker!" And I'm like, "Oh, she's about to swing. She's like, I'm going on Yelp and giving you a bad review right now." And I was like, "Is that it? Is that all?" Like, I was like, "This is fucking fantastic. This is the best job. Like, this is great. They paid me for this. This is it. That's it. I don't have to worry about getting fucking stabbed by somebody's girlfriend today."
Yeah, it's a different vibe. It's a different vibe. People sometimes, you're kicking them out. I said to a guy one time, "All right, let's go, guys. Let's go." And they're like, "I'm gonna finish my drink." And I'm like, "What? Are you asking me, or are you telling me? What's the difference? If you're asking me if you can finish your drink, go ahead. If you're telling me, I'm going to throw that drink and you're going to leave right now. Can I finish my drink? Go for it. Exactly. Finish your drink, bro."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
whose chain's hanging low here? You know?
My favorite is like the "don't touch me" guy. Like when you're like, because you form like a wall and start walking towards the door at the end of it. And there's always the guy that doesn't want to move, but then somehow doesn't also want to get touched. And you're like, I don't have to touch you if you just fucking walk.
Right.
But there's always that guy every weekend.
Just go home.
The "don't touch me" guy. Don't touch me. Well, then do what I'm telling you to do. Or you don't get choke slammed into the pavement.
In all fairness, there's that word. The last time I got kicked out of a bar.
You got kicked out of a bar before?
I've been kicked out a couple times.
Were you thirsty at the time?
I've never been kicked out of a bar. You ever kicked out of a bar? I never.
I got kicked.
See?
There's one town that I go to, okay, and I will always get kicked out of the fucking bars up there because I just don't get along with like that town, and it's Northampton, Massachusetts.
Oh, the
fucking the alphabet people.
The alphabet people.
Dave Chappelle's term. I'll go with it. All right. So no, but it's fine. It's not even that though. I think it's just that they're used to a little bit of a quieter, more artistic crowd, right? And I'm like up there. If I'm up there, I'm having a good time because there's really no reason why I would ever really be up there, right? So I'm like with friends or whatever. If I was dating somebody up that way at the time or whatever, but they're just I got a different vibe, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe you get kicked out of bars.
I've been kicked out of Fitzwillies, bro. They have shut me down and like that place lets like UMass kids get like wasted, get in their car and eat telephone poles. You know what I mean? And then they're like, "You're done."
I got kicked out. I got into a fight, and I knew I was gonna get kicked out because literally, at the end of this, I blasted the guy across the wall because he tried to hit me with a bottle. I blasted him across the room. He hits a wall, and he falls. As soon as he falls, I slap on a rear naked choke. He still held on to his beer. Still held on to it. The same beer bottle that he tried to hit me with, he's still holding on. He's like, ah. And a friend of mine, who is a retired state trooper, who's going to be on the show in a couple weeks, is like, "Chris, let him go."
Eddie?
No. Chris, let him go. Chris, it's Mike. Let him go. I'm like, all right. And then I see all the bouncers there now. And I'm like, all right. I let the dude go. And one guy, big dude, he's like, "You got to come with us. You're done." And I'm like, all right. And just on impulse, because we've been there, there's one guy, the closest bouncer, like, put your fucking hands on me. Right? Like, he hasn't even tried to do anything. And I'll fucking, just put your fucking hands on me. Right? They're like, now you're for real going. Like, all right. You know, if I'm going to get kicked out, I might as well make it worth it at that point. And of course, you know.
I got bounced. I got kicked out of the casino.
You did?
Yeah.
Mohegan?
Yep.
You know, Jungle and I got into a fight at the casino.
Fought each other?
No.
Okay. No, I like Uchimata a security guard.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I was having a conversation with my ex-girlfriend. Okay?
I heard about this.
Right. I was dating Jen at the time, and I don't know.
You hip tossed a security guard.
Yeah. She was drunk and acting wild and being dumb, right? And I was just like, dude, will you calm the fuck down? And some guy was like gonna be a fucking hero, and he walked over and he just did one of these from behind. Right.
Yeah. But tried to give you like the firm "I'm tougher than you," like that one.
I just turned around, grabbed whoever it was, dude, and he went.
And then you got
triangle step and like and then he landed on his ass and was like, oh! I looked at her, she looked at me, and we were like, run. And we went like, the fight was over, and now it was like, team, get back in the car. Okay, like, it was done, dude, okay? So we're like running to the elevator, we get in the elevator, okay, we're going up because it's the summer garage, okay? Bing! 5th floor, doors open up, 3 cops just like,
right there.
And I was like, shit.
Yeah.
You know?
I got kicked out of the Twin River Casino.
Well, good. That's a
that
shit
had to be
casino anyway.
It's terrible.
It's the worst casino ever.
It's not a casino. It's like a basement.
It's like a basement.
It's a den.
You know what happened?
Shitty steak
we were there for a tournament. You know, because sometimes they would have the Naga tournaments, and we were there, and my son was with me, and so we're cutting across the casino floor, and my son was like, he was a not a baby, but he was a baby.
Child.
He was like
accompanied by his father,
5, and I'm almost at the exit to walk out, you know, and this guy says, hey, he can't be here. And I'm like, well, all right. So I walked through the whole place. I'm leaving anyway. He's like, no, you turn around, you go out that way.
He's trying to make you go the wrong...
I'm like,
nah,
man, I'm going out that door right there. No, you're not. And I start walking. He goes, are we going to have a problem? I said, nope, I'm walking out that door. You said I got to leave. As I get closer, he's like, security, level whatever, blah, 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 calls out a code.
And you're walking out the building.
Yeah. So now they all come running. And I'm still going to go. I'm determined to go now.
You have your son with you.
I have my
now
son with
you
me.
are like, if anything comes near me, you're dying.
And you know what happened? And it was going to go south for me because I'm going to be made wrong. But it was my daughter and Jesse who are like, Chris, they're literally pulling me back. They're like, I'm like, no, I'm walking out that door. They're like, no, you're not. I'm like, what? I'm still kind of like, just a little bit tweaked about it.
Because it's security's mad lax, though.
Yeah.
You probably could have just done you.
Yeah.
We Jungle. This is when, you know, Jungle, Jay.
Yeah.
He was a white kid with dreads. Do you remember when he had dreads?
Oh, yeah. That's how we got the name.
Yeah. All right. So, a white kid with dreads, like, deserves to get, like, attention probably from black people because it is kind of like, why the fuck do you have a haircut?
You went through a lot of work here.
Yeah. Like, why do you have a haircut?
He had full dreads.
Yeah. Like, we're walking into the casino.
Seen Soulfly?
Yeah.
and these dudes are like giving him a hard time, probably about his hair, I think. And he's like, chill out. And he was, you know, Jungle just, even when he's trying to not fight, he just has that asshole-ish like vibe to him that he's like, fuck you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And he goes like, hey, I gotta use the bathroom real quick. So we walk into the casino. He cuts that left right in the bathroom where Krispy Kreme is.
Yeah.
And Krispy Kreme, right by Bobby's Burgers. I know everything by food places. So I'm sitting on the bench and I'm talking to my baby mom at the time, who was with us, and she's like, you know, those dudes just went to the bathroom, right? I'm like, oh, are you for real? She's like, yeah. I'm like, fuck it, I go in the bathroom. They have him surrounded at a urinal, and he's trying to take a leak, and there's one dude here, one dude there. So I step into one of the guys, and I'm like, back up, and he's like, don't touch me. I'm like, well, then don't be near my boy, and I won't have to.
Right, yeah.
Just back up. He's like, you put your hand on me one more time, you know, I'm going to do something, like, whatever. And he stepped again, so I hand the stress. He slapped me in the face. So he slaps me in the face, Mind you, there's a bathroom attendant at Mohegan. There's always a guy in the bathroom. So there's like that little guy in the bathroom. He's seeing the whole thing. And there's other people in the bathroom too that are like taking a leak, customers. He slaps me and I'm like...
Freaked out. It's over.
Yeah,
Red.
so
yeah.
like, so I ran with him like into the wall. Like I just grabbed him and ran with me, hit his head, and he like knocked out.
Yeah.
So he's on the ground, and I'm like fucking screaming because you slapped my face. That's like,
Yeah, no, we're good.
It's
I'm good
embarrassing.
With everything. I'm good with
Like,
everything's happening so
it's
far.
embarrassing, right? So now this guy falls on the ground, and he's like laid out, and now Jungle starts fighting the other guy because now,
Whooping him.
now he's like,
Fuck this dude.
now it's a fair fight.
Right.
And the security comes in, and they're like, that's what I was saying, they're so lax. It's like they're all like 90.
Yeah.
Like there's no like
The green coat dudes.
yeah, there's nobody that's actually going to be able to physically do something. I think they're there to just like look, and then they call the cops.
Right.
They have their own police department.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the state cops come, and they block it up. And the state cop said something to me which I'll never forget, which was fucking hilarious. He goes, "You could tell who won the fight out of you two," looking at me and Jay. He's like, because the guy that Jay fought was like, "Let's take this shit outside. I want to fucking finish. Let's go." And the guy that I fought was like, "Let's just go home, man. Come on, man. Let's just get out of here, man. They're letting us out. Let's just go."
Yeah, take your licks and leave, man.
But yeah, fuck
Take your licks and
casino
leave.
security, man. I would have walked out that door.
Yeah. Well, again, you know,
Especially, no, we're in the business. So it's just like, I know where I fall on the tier of bouncer and security and bodyguard, okay?
Yeah.
And I like, there's the dude who walks around with Dr. Dre, right? Who's like probably a former Navy SEAL, right? And then there's like dudes who work the top end nightclubs and have like, there's a lot of rich people in there, so the security is legit, right?
Yeah.
And then there's like Billy Bob at, the biker bar.
you know, so
Who
it's
works
tough
for free food and a couple of beers.
because you know,
Eat them wings.
I've always been pretty good at like snapping out of it, and I didn't want my daughter and Jess and my son to become collateral of me keeping it real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You get arrested in front of your kid. Now your kid's got to get a ride home.
That's
so that
my
doesn't
kids
even
have never
calculate.
seen me in handcuffs, and I don't want them to ever see me in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Now they know I've gotten into trouble, but hearing
It's
it and seeing it,
different.
it's different.
It's different.
And yeah, I'm gonna win the first round, but I'm gonna lose the second round. I gotta explain to their mother.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you win the battle, but you lost the war.
yeah, it's
that one.
you know, so certain things.
But you're walking out. Like, what can they do in that scenario? I'm walking out.
They were gonna put their hands on me, and then I was gonna be obligated to fight them. You know what I mean?
You how wait? So then, not to blame
fucking
Chris,
around,
not to
dude.
blame Chris here, but it sounds to me like you were far enough to go to the other exit.
I was. Oh,
If there was that much of a conversation and they still would have gotten to you before you got to the door,
Yeah, I was probably.
maybe you should have went to the other
I
exit.
would say between
But
50
your
and
car
70.
was over there.
I don't even know. I don't know where my car was. I just know that I was leaving that door.
But like that guy, see, there's also like, for him, it's like, is this what I battle on? Or if he's walking out already?
Is this what, right?
Is it like?
Is this the hill
Maybe when I
wanna
was
die
20, I'm proud as a bouncer, so you're like, oh yeah, no, you're not going out that door. But by the time now, I'd be like, well, he's fucking leaving.
Right.
Whatever, bro.
That's how my
Just
mind
When they're
Fuck outta
talking
here.
shit, walking out,
They're still walking out.
they're still walking out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
Biggest asshole
Bye.
you ever met, guy.
You know?
Bye.
Yeah.
Yep.
There was a time Jess, Jasmine, and Doyle put me in the car because we were at,
How is Doyle? Where is Doyle?
I don't know. I haven't seen him in
Doyle,
forever.
if you hear this,
Working on anything on your past somewhere.
we miss you.
Giving out ZJs.
What was it? Vegas Boulevard? Was that the name of the place in Hartford? So it was like a club.
Vegas.
It was,
Envy?
no. Where the
Russian lady.
The
It was like
techno
Ve-
place.
yeah.
It was
Up
a
around the rocks.
No, it was a
No.
pizza joint during the day. And
Yeah.
and then at night it turned into like the what was that music everybody liked?
Dubstep.
Dubstep.
What
Yeah.
the fuck are you guys talking about?
Yeah, it turned into a dubstep
Yeah.
club.
Yep.
They were running mad drugs out of that place.
Yeah, so we were in there one night. We were in there one night, and some guy just got obnoxious. He got froggy, and I got froggy, and we had words inside, right? And security comes up, separates us, and now we're outside, And so I start walking, and they're like, "Where are you going, Chris?" I'm like, "I'm just gonna go talk to him." And next thing you know, I'm really trying to talk to him, and I make a run at him, and I was drunk, and so they all grabbed me. Doyle, Jasmine, Jess, and maybe one other person grabbed me, and they're like, and they literally put me in the car, kicking and screaming. And
sounds to me like you got a little bit of attitude.
Listen, you know, my whole entire life.
Where did this happen? Oh, that was Hartford.
Yeah, I've never started a fight. I would say by my own.
I don't walk away from them either.
But that's always been the thing, is that like I won't start trouble, but my mother didn't raise a punk, man, and
that's the tough part.
Yeah.
For me, you know what's crazy is like I don't find myself getting angry enough for me when I'm disrespected. I get way angrier when I'm with somebody who's disrespected. So it's like I don't really have a lot of personal like confrontations where I got upset with the guy because he said something to me and there was like a backward. Mm-hmm. It's always like somebody's being fucked up to my friend.
Sure.
The day you saved Dice's life.
What do you mean? Oh, that's you gotta tell that story because I don't even remember.
He was somewhere. He got super drunk like Dice used to do. Miss you, Dice. He was Mezzos. And we won't even give out his real name so that nobody knows what's what. All right. But Dice got a little too drunk. All right. He started having conversation with somebody else. The fact that I think he was training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu got mentioned. Okay. He started getting attacked out from the darkness.
I'm not with Dice this night. I just happen to be there.
Okay, Dice is there with somebody else, maybe Irv and like somebody else. I don't even know. Okay, and so he's out living his best life, popping bottles, getting tables. All right, back when we used to do stuff like that.
Back when.
And saw his boy get in trouble from across the bar. Happened to be at the right place, the right time. Ran across the nightclub. Very agile for a big man, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Knocked out like 3 dudes. Grabbed Dice.
So embellished. But basically, like, you like, yeah. I'm way more of like a aggressive for my friends and my girl and my kids than I am for me. It's weird. Like, people can really violate me, like, verbally, and it doesn't get me going.
Sure.
Like, you have to, like, enter my personal space to get that, like, that fight or flight instinct.
When you got slapped.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, that whole time, there could have never been
chill out, dude.
Yeah.
Just take it easy.
And I try. I wish I was more aggressive for the words. Because, like, people can violate you. I wish I was more like, ugh. But, like, it's got... There has to be, like, a physical aspect to get me to be like...
I think that's a great thing. And here's the thing to your point about the slap. I could forgive a push. You push me, I'm like...
I can't see
Just
that.
put your hands on me.
I can't forgive that.
I can forgive that. I might be able to forgive a sucker punch. You slap me, I might have to burn your house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because what you told me is that you didn't even think I was going to do anything.
Yeah.
Because had you punched me, you were trying to knock me out because you didn't want me to fight back.
Right.
You slapped me because you thought I was just going to eat your slap.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I have to, like...
Now we're fighting.
Now I have to violate you.
I think it was like Charlie Murphy. It was like, even when smacking a dude was fashionable, there was a gunfight, a duel. Somebody got it, you know? I'll never forget that. I was like, yeah, he gets it. He gets it.
Because you really think the guy, like, he's a punk.
Yeah. You know? And you know what? On the flip side of that, I have slapped a few people in my life. Like, maybe 2.
Mm-hmm.
About 2 people. And I did it
to let you know I don't want to hurt you.
and to punk him.
Yep.
I slapped a guy one time who I threw a party, and he called the cops on me. And which, listen, instead of just
was
saying,
he invited to the party?
He was not. But here's the deal. I've always been like this. If I'm doing anything that's getting it fucked up for you and getting it sideways, all you have to do is this. Hey, Chris, can we talk for a minute? Sure. What's up? You did this and this and that, and I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. I'll stop right now. If I'm making too much noise, if you knock on my door, I could be having a rager and a great time. But if you say, listen, man, my kid's trying to sleep, my girl's trying to sleep, whatever, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're not
gonna turn it down. I'll turn it right down. But if you just go and jump over that and call the cops on me, sure, it's your right. But we could have been friends about this, man. We could have, because now you just told me that you don't want to be my friend.
Yep.
Friends resolve things, you know. My mom once told me that the moment you involve the legal system, sorry, that you're
She's
not
a
friends
contract
anymore.
attorney, you're good.
You're not friends anymore.
Yeah.
You're not family anymore.
Yeah.
You don't call the cops on your boy.
Amen.
You don't call the cops on your family.
Never.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'll beat the shit out of my family. I won't call the cops on you. You know what I mean?
no.
It's okay to slap some people.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Fair fight, it's good.
The cops complicate things, especially in like,
and they take control of
especially
it.
in this fucking climate. Yeah. Like, you could call the cops over your your neighbor being loud, and literally your neighbor can end up dead on the front lawn. That's why you don't. Your mom is 100% right. Yeah. Like, the dice roll of having the cops come somewhere where they don't necessarily need to be is not the dice roll you want to take anymore. They're not, hey man, can you turn it down? They're fucking banging on your door. Yeah. What are you doing? Where are you at? And if you got a little attitude,
do I smell?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, fuck you.
No, it turns into way more.
It can get messy.
Absolutely,
it can definitely get messy.
Maple bacon donuts. That's what I smell. Hey, my sister's a cop. I have love for some for law enforcement, but there's some that you're just like, guy, what are you fucking doing right now? What are you doing? Calm the fuck down. You know right now that if you were wearing that badge and that little belt, that this would be a completely different conversation.
You know what's a great theory
on
cops? Sean Cunningham.
In terms of that they were all,
and he's
a lot of them were picked on.
No, he and it's kind of like, it's kind of right? Like, as people, we all kind of fall into different spectrums. Like, well, most people are middle of the road. Some people are extreme assholes. Some people are extremely passive. He's like, in his life and interaction with the police, and now that I look back, it's pretty accurate. You've either come across really nice police who are just cool guys trying to get a job done, or complete dicks. You never meet a middle of the road cop who's like reasonable, hears you out, talks back and forth. You figure, all right, that time I have a go and see you later. No, it's either like fucking slam you against the hood, or like, hey man, we understand, shit happens, no big deal, get out of here. Am I wrong? Or is
I guess so. I
think that depends on agency and where you are within your career. And how many times you've been divorced.
Or, that sounds... Those are definitely some mitigating factors. So I've been a prime benefactor of law enforcement doing the right thing.
Same.
Most of my life.
Yep.
There have been a couple of times that I'm like, bro, I don't think that's...
Where'd you get that badge? Cracker Jack box, bro? Because you were an idiot.
And in, like, the last, say, 15 years of my life, last 20 years of my life, it's been great. Yep. Now, there have been a couple of occurrences where it's like, I just in the wrong place, wrong time, and I just got, like, swept into the maelstrom. I'm like, whoa, but is what it is. Unfortunately, people don't know how to act right, and we all know this. And at times I haven't been able, like leaving the casino. But I don't know. I wish we didn't live in a world that needed police, but I don't want to live in a world where there's no police.
And to parallel that, I feel like insurance are like the police. Same shit. It's like you don't want to ever have to see them or deal with them. Mm-hmm. But when you do, you're usually happy that they showed up.
Right.
Like, you don't call the cops unless you really need the fucking cops to come.
Right.
Usually.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What kind of... Because you brought up the insurance thing again. So, to live my best life, what do I need for insurance? What kinds?
Depends on what you got. What's your best life, right? If your best life is like, you have a house, you have a couple cars, then that's what you need. If you need... So life, and cover all the shit you got. Your property, that's it. Your business, If I'm you, and you have a future, and you have a business that's built already, that you're building even bigger, you insure everything that you can. You know what I mean? Okay. So then you just cover your shit. Mm-hmm. It's an unnecessary, it's a necessary, not even evil, but just a necessary annoyance. Like I said, it's not fun, and usually they're trying to fuck you when it comes to how much they pay you. But at the end of the day, they still are contractually obligated to pay you. So I'd rather be in that contract than have to worry about it myself.
So when it comes to dealing with them, I just stay on them? Yeah. Stay the course?
If you annoy... So a lot of times it claims, too, like, you can annoy people into paying you. You can literally, like, call, and they'll pay you top dollar to get you to go away. Mm-hmm. If they know they can walk over you and cut you a little check and you'll go away, they're going to do that. But if they know that you're not going to sign the check, you're going to keep going, they don't, it just saves them resource money. So they'll pay you not because you deserve it, but because they know that if they keep answering this phone, spending an hour on the phone every time you call, that's money being lost by them. So they do the numerical kind of like, what's it worth to get this person to go away, and how much will we lose if they don't go away? That type of thing.
That's good to know. It's good to know. I mean, I never want. I don't know. You know, there's. I guess you want justice, or, right?
But they're peaking.
But I
they're
think,
peaking.
but I think, right, justice is fair, right? And so it's the same thing. What is justice?
Yeah.
It's
defining
called
fair.
Indemnification is the agreement. That's the law of which all insurance is based on. It's called indemnification.
Okay.
Indemnification, by definition, is to put you back in the place you were in before you suffered a loss.
So Tracy Morgan's 98 million.
Yeah, precisely.
Versus-
So you're not gonna. The idea of insurance is not to have a come up. It's just to reimburse you back to where you should be
Okay.
or were.
Sure.
That's the law of indemnification. That is what all insurance is based off of from the beginning of time.
Ah. Okay. All right. It makes a lot of sense.
You know.
Yeah.
But where you were, and where you could be, those are all then negotiable, right?
Yeah.
There's no clear number.
Right.
You can decide, and you have to fight for your clear number.
So now, watch, somebody's gonna take this information and be like, "Yo, I'm gonna get over." So, but it's a legit question. My car gets stolen.
Yep.
How does that work?
So your car gets stolen. You call the cops. Cops make a report. You call the insurance company. Now, do you have liability only, or do you have full coverage? If you have full coverage, which is comprehensive and collision with liability, then you're going to have coverage for that stolen car. If you got a beater, like you said, you don't have full coverage on your truck,
Right.
you're beat.
Right.
They got you.
I don't think they would give me full coverage for my truck.
Well, they would. They'd give you if you wanted it, but then you'd only get a couple, whatever it's worth, you know?
Right.
What's it worth to you to cover, you know? That's how it goes.
Yeah.
One of the only places in insurance where you actually get put back in a place better would be like in home insurance, personal property replacement. So basically, your house burns down.
You got all those Van Goghs in there.
Well, not that. You could say that, right? But you get all new shit.
You had a 1962.
Right,
You get all
because
new
of
shit.
baseball.
Yeah.
So this old desk that you got from somebody 3 times, generations ago, you have to go buy a new desk. The TV, it might have been the top line TV, but that's from 2010.
Right.
Well, guess what? Now you're getting the top line TV from 2020.
I see.
You know,
I see.
It's kind of how it goes. So that's the one place where there is a little bit of a come up.
Okay.
But you go through some shit to get that kind of a come up, you know.
Now, in terms of the car getting stolen, right? How long does it take?
Depends. You know, like I don't know. There's like investigations.
How long do I
and
have
shit.
to hide my car?
Yeah. Because,
How long do I have to be gone for?
yeah. You know, if it's like I don't know what the rule is on the like length of time, but once they deem it a total loss, and it's in their best interest to deem it a total loss sooner than later, because usually they're paying for your rental.
I see.
So your shit's gone. You're gonna be driving
They're
around.
ditching out money to Hertz.
Yeah, so they want to settle. It's in their best interest to get that check to you and be done. Because once they cut that check, the rental's over.
Gotcha. When my motorcycle burned, it was pretty quick. If memory serves me correctly, I mean, it didn't take that long, you know. I don't think I've ever had a motor vehicle claim. No, I did one time, and they actually just paid to total my car, or that's what they said they were going to do. I don't even remember how that worked. But.
Also depends what company you're with. So like, there's companies like Chubb and all these other companies that are higher end companies. You don't like we couldn't get our houses with them because we're not at that level. Like we're regular people. But those type of companies that have those types of policies, they're notorious. They'll just pay. They don't. They're not investigating you like that. I mean, they'll do a little bit of what they have to do, but they're not. It's think about it. You got $1 billion. You don't care about cutting a check for $200,000. You got 10 million. $200,000 hurts. Right. So that's the thing. So you, depending on who you're with too, is a big part of how easy your claims process is.
I see.
The bigger the company, the easier it's going to be.
you've got Geico, you've got MetLife, you've got Progressive, the General. Are they all the same, or is there like one that's like
So like, there's standard carriers, non-standard carriers. Usually, the stuff you see on TV are more of like a lot of them are non-standard. What that means is they take everybody. So like the General, they'll take anybody. They rate you for it. The real companies that you're going to get the best pricing with,
State Farm.
they're not going to market as much because they don't need to market to the crowd that's like a daytime TV crowd or whatever. They're just like word of mouth or people that are insurance tell them, that type of stuff.
They're at brokerages.
Exactly. So like your best bet is to always use an agent because the agent
he shops, right?
He shops like 13 companies, 15,
okay,
depending on how many he's got. And you could use multiple agents and do it every year.
Okay.
Hell yeah. There's no reason not to. I mean, you get some credits to stay with a company a long time, but the issue is if you can get a cheaper rate every year, then you just go with that company.
And what they're paying out, right? What your coverage is.
Yeah.
So
exactly. For real. But I would always say have an agent, as crazy as it is, because like you don't know what you don't know. Like I know Kelly.
He's a black belt at insurance.
Yeah, Kelly, the chick from the club. I don't know her last name.
Whatever.
I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm talking about. The waitress, Kelly. She bought a brand new car, bro. She went on Progressive and bought insurance for her brand new car and didn't have full coverage. And she told it like 6 months later and had no coverage. Because she went online and just bought her own insurance. And it was like, how they say like basic, $200, middle of the road, $300, $400. And they let her put liability only on a 2017 car in 2017.
Yep.
And she totaled it 6 months later, thought she had coverage and did not.
Yep.
Damn.
So it's...
That set her back quite a bit.
Yeah. Have an agent. Because at least
that'll keep you waitressing at a bar for a while.
It's like doing your own taxes. Can you do it? Probably. Are you right? Probably not. And if you're wrong, you'd rather have a finger to point at the guy who's supposed to know how to do it.
Todd at H&R Block.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I gave him $153.
So I need to be calling Jake from State Farm. I gotta be like, Jake,
Todd,
yo, you gotta hook this up. You gotta make this shit right.
Yeah, yeah. You always want to have that. Because
Todd, there's a man in a suit at my door.
Oh my god! Wow.
Yeah, people like.
So this
I
works.
I put value in jobs like those, man. Pay somebody to do your taxes. Have somebody be like your insurance broker. You can go to court and defend yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Success rate on that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And the good thing about the insurance shit is like, you're not paying.
Hire a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Hire a coach.
You're not paying a commission to them.
boxing.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta have a coach. You're not paying a commission to the agent though. The company is. So you're not paying more to go through the agent. You'll pay more to go through your tax because it's worth it. You'll pay more to have a lawyer because it's worth it. Insurance, you're not paying more by going through the agent. The company's paying the agent to find you. So you're not. There's no cost to you to have an agent do your stuff.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And in the age of where everything's going digital, and closing down stores and closing fuck that.
A little bit of hands-on is good.
A little bit of like, hey, guy, you know me. I'm your customer. You're my agent. You're gonna help me figure out what the best policy is, and I'll constantly be shopping for you too. So next year when it comes time to renew, hey, you're getting a lower rate with this guy. And they're gonna give you better coverage for cheaper.
Why not? Why not have people compete for your business rather than you just go with wherever you can go?
Makes sense. I never would have thought about that. Never would have thought about that.
Yo, liability only on a brand new car because she bought it online. She had no idea.
That's crazy. She must have cried. I know she cried.
I would have. Imagine that.
I know I would have cried too. I'm saying it is like with all kind of, with a condescending tone.
I lost like a grand at the casino. I lost a grand at the casino last week, 2 weeks ago. I went back to the room and I was like, it's allergies.
Right. Yeah. That's another story altogether.
Was that the casino in Boston?
No, I lost a grand there too, though.
Yeah, everybody loses there, bro. They know payout shit.
A waitress threw money at her.
Because
I almost got kicked out of there.
What do you mean she threw money at you?
So basically, imagine every stripper we worked with for the last 7 years balled into a waitress. It was that girl. Clearly, strip clubs aren't open up there, so she's waitressing. I was spending money at the slot machine. She's giving her a drink or something. she doesn't have change for her. She has like a $20 bill. She wants to tip her. So she's like, oh, do you have change? Now, waitress, if you're smart, will have change. She's like, I don't have change. She's like, all right, I'll give you the money. Go get change or whatever. The girl disappears with her $20 for like 20 minutes. And we're like, dude, like, what the hell? Where have you gone with... You were supposed to just go get change. You should have had change on you.
Right.
And we trusted you enough to give you the 20. You know what I mean?
That's the old stripper move.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's the old stripper move.
Yeah, I got you. No problem.
I'm hiding in the bathroom.
Yeah. So like we waited. We waited for her. I'm like, yeah, this is a matter of principle. Like, we got a room here. We have a room. I spent money. We went to dinner. We probably were $1,500 in the hole at that casino. Show us a little bit of love.
Right.
And the girl comes back around and she's like, my girl's professional even when it's not professional time. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm ratchet. Like, I'm getting ratchet, And she's like, yo, what the fuck? She's like, cool. She's like, I'm all set with the drink. You could just give me the money back and keep the drink. And the girl's like, what? And you could tell the girl's now like, like, oh, fuck, she's not feeling how I was being. And the girl was like, fine then. And like, went to hand her the money but dropped it, trying to be funny. Now, you're not making my girl pick up money. It ain't happening. So my she's like, excuse you? Like, are you going to pick that up? And the girl had a little attitude. So then I'm like, it's go time. And what did she say? I was like, yo, like, pick up the money. Like, or something like that. And she's like, is there a problem? I'm like, yeah, there's a problem. Pick up the money. Do you want to talk to my manager? I go, yes, I do. And she walked away. She goes, this is the best. She sung the shit out of me. This is the funniest shit ever. She goes, do you want to talk to my manager? I'm like, yeah. She's like, no. And she just walked away. She just walked away and left the money on the ground. And neither of us picked it up. I'm like, yo, you're not picking it up. Yeah, like the janitor. The janitor picked it up and gave it to her. And like, I was like, you're not picking it up. Like,
yeah,
no waitress.
No pride.
Yeah, like, nobody's doing...
You gotta give a Yelp review.
Yeah.
I gotta give you a...
Yeah, I lost a lot of money there, too. Not a great experience. No.
You gotta do something, man. That's crazy. If you get a job...
Another case, by the way, of me getting more angry for other people.
I was thinking that. I was just thinking
because if it was me, I'd have been like, yo, you're corny.
Yeah.
Your weave looks like shit.
Yeah. You smell like Newports, bitch. I just grab
backwoods.
I don't know, man. Like, if you're gonna get a job in any kind of customer service, do your job or don't take the job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do your job or stay home. If you have a bad attitude about shit, don't get those jobs. But if your job is to provide service and or to serve, do the job.
Exactly.
I
always talk about that with like my kids. Like whenever somebody's got an attitude at like wherever, Taco Bell, wherever, I'm like, you know what? There's probably like 20 felons in this 10-mile radius, 5-minute radius from here that would kill to have a job and would literally blow that job out of the water. Be great, be nice to people. They just need the opportunity. A homeless person, anybody, and then you have this 18-year-old girl who's entitled and being mean to people as they come through. It's like, it's just that shit annoys me. Like you said, don't take the job. I'm not a Karen, but just don't be like mean to people if you're in a job that's supposed to be nice to people.
Yeah, I poured I knocked a McDonald's soda when I was a kid, right? I was like 15 at the mall. And, I don't know, the girl gave me attitude and I gave it back. And she gave it back to me. I gave it back to her. And she went and slammed my soda here. I was like, fuck it, I don't want it. And then walked in. But I still paid for it, though. It's too late. But I was like, whatever. Stupid.
I think we're having a revelation. You got an attitude problem.
Yeah.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah. So, was it, besides the part that you said it was soul sucking, you were good at it.
Yeah.
I don't mean like good at like sucking the soul. I mean like in other words, you were good at insurance.
Yeah, I had like $120,000 book or something like meaning that it was like over $1 million in premium that was like in my name as an agent. So like I got paid on it. Yeah. So and it's you get paid on it forever until the people leave.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I left it all.
Wow.
I left it all. I go to a men's study. I was in a men's study talking about how much insurance just wasn't for me anymore.
Get out.
And the regional manager for my current job was in that group. Said, hey, give us a shot. And I did, and it was the best move I ever made in my life.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like complete different, like complete 180. Like, I used to have to work a second job at night. I used to always have to just kind of like supplement my income. Don't have that anymore. The work-life balance is good, and then I'm in sales still, but I'm selling a product that I get to see. It's tangible. I could feel it. I could, I deliver it to the customer. So it's not like insurance where it's a promise that I'm making on somebody else's behalf, hoping they follow through on that promise.
Right.
And I have to be anxious about if they're gonna or not. You know what I mean?
So now I know in the past, because I've seen like someone sent you somewhere, and I've seen you holding plaques and awards. That's from the new job?
Yeah.
So you just hit the ground running and just
I
boom.
was 2019 Rookie of the Year for Southern New England. So New England's Rookie of the Year for that company. I was also nationally the #1 rookie. So like best numbers, best statistics out of all the rookies.
Damn.
And then last year I was also honored as a top performer, which we just had a celebration, which was cool, like a virtual celebration.
Okay.
And this year on pace to continue that trend. Knock on wood.
Good for you.
But it's thank you, by the way. But yeah, it was good. But it was the enthusiasm. So like, you hear about certain opportunities in your life and they're just too good to be true. You hear about it and you're like, it's not true because it's just too. It checks all the boxes. Normally things don't do that. It got to a point where the dude who said, hey, come work with us. There's another guy that works for them. I made him show me his W-2. Before I quit my insurance job, I said, I want to see your year-to-date right now. If what you're telling me is true, your year-to-date will be what you're saying it is, and I'll believe you, because you can't, ADP don't lie.
Right.
And he showed me, pulled it up on his phone, boom, and it was good, and I said, sign me up.
Wow. So you're happy?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
What makes you good? So, you helped us with insurance.
Yep.
And even when I've had random crazy questions prior to this, you've always been great. So, I would say it definitely does you credit to get out of something that like you feel is draining your soul.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Good for you.
Thank you.
What do you think makes you good? What makes you good at sales? I mean, I know
I could break
personable.
it down. I could break it down to like the genius level of like making connections, blah blah blah. To me, it's being a fat kid with not a lot of money, trying to get with girls. When you're in 6th grade, you have a mushroom cap and look like a penis. You're dirty and don't have a lot of bread. You have like the Payless shoes on. You gotta be funny.
You gotta be funny.
You gotta be funny. You gotta be able to talk.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to just make conversation where there isn't any.
Poor fat kid.
And that willingness to learn to break the ice in every certain circumstance you're in, and then that also willingness to like make people laugh. That is, if you look back at your life, if you had any challenges with like kind of fitting in, you usually do very well in sales because you've become likable, but also that guy that's not afraid to say hi to anybody. Sure. Like if I'm in an elevator with you,
and that's the first step to building trust.
Absolutely. But if I'm in an elevator with you, like
buy from you and give you the money if they trust you.
Do you
right.
can you be anywhere quiet with somebody else in the room? I cannot.
Nope.
If we're in a doctor's waiting room, Planned Parenthood. No. For me, we're here for me, not for her. See? I'm a piece of shit. But if we're both in the waiting room and it's quiet,
she's on that Caribbean shit. Like, tell them what you did. Tell them what you did. Stop. Tell them why you're here. Tell them.
So like, I have to talk. There has to be noise because this silence is.
That's when the voices start.
Yeah.
You hear that?
But it's that need, it's that yearn of like connection, bro. That's what makes salespeople. But the trust, like I really don't have. There's no part of me that wants to fuck people over for my own benefit. Like I don't want to make money
No.
and have you get screwed.
Sure.
It's not that important to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There are
Right.
certain situations I'll go to your, like in my current job, I'll go to an appointment and I'll look around and I'll say, I mean, you really don't need my product
Mm-hmm.
in this situation.
Good for you.
You know what I
And
mean?
you know,
Like,
because if I may, I've seen there's 2 types of salesmen. Maybe there's 3 or 4, but from what I've seen,
There's
my
a few.
experience, the 2 main types. There's the guy like you, and then there's this guy. Hey,
yeah.
Chris.
Yeah.
How's it going? And you're like, bro,
Groundhog Day.
ease.
Ned Ryerson. Phil?
You know, I'm like, dude, don't like. There's this, or like, you go to Planet Fitness, right, or World Gym, Gold Gym, whatever, any gym, right? You guys, everyone has
Take the
seen
tour. We'll
this.
sign you up.
You take the tour, right? So, Chris, are you ready to change your life? It's like, bro, I want to walk around and check it out. I can't check it out if you're hovering, trying to get me to change my life.
You have a row of ellipticals, okay? No one's changing their fucking life, Todd. All right?
And
You
I've
ever seen a
always
skinny
hated that.
person drink a Diet Coke or on an elliptical? All right? Not a one. Okay? There's nobody with abs on an elliptical.
You know,
But same thing, like, you meet people, too, like, even at parties, and, like, you meet a guy, and you could tell he's, like, working an angle on you about whatever shit he does for his job.
Mm-hmm.
You could already feel it. Or, like, you get a friend request on Facebook from that chick you used to know in high school, and then you approve it, and, like, 5
Just trying to
minutes
sell you
later,
crystals.
fucking skincare. It's like, dude, come on. Like, let your product speak for itself if you're in sales. Stop trying to, like, always, like, exploit personal relationships for gain. That's usually the first.
Do your marketing.
Yeah, that's terrible stuff. Like, your customers will. That's how insurance worked. I would ask my customers, this is how I made all my money. And it was very simple. Chris, I'll hook you up, right? Yep. You like what I did for you? Yes. Can you do me a favor? Tell people.
yeah,
Post about it if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Because your testimonial is worth
Yeah.
3,000 times more than me saying I'll do people a good job.
right.
If my cousin tells me that this is the company he went to go get his windows, they came in, they did everything right, they didn't break anything, they were super polite, respectful.
There you go.
That's the company I'm going to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's your customers will. If
Like
you
a
do
used Google.
if you do the right thing, your customers
Yeah.
will build your business for you.
Sure.
Same thing as a jiu-jitsu coach. You're legit.
Yeah.
Your people tell their friends. Those people come in.
Speaking of jujitsu, do you think, and maybe it has, maybe it hasn't, do you think jujitsu has helped you with your job?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Because jiu-jitsu was the first thing in life that beat the living fuck out of me, that made me go, I want to keep trying. I like, before you lose in something and you're like, I suck at that, let me go find something else I'm good at. And that's what everybody's like thing is. It's like, even if you look at like, oh, chase your dreams, try everything and you'll find something you're good at. No, you don't find something you're good at.
Mm-hmm.
You find something you love and you become good at that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So jiu-jitsu made challenges like not avoidable.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, so even in sales you get a lot of objections.
Mm-hmm.
But you work it. You figure out a way to make it work for mutual benefit. Same thing with jiu-jitsu. Like you I'm gonna get tapped, I don't fucking not come back.
Right. Right. Right.
I take the L, I come back the next day
Yeah.
because I don't want to take the L again.
Well, that's where, like, the true, I think, like, where, just to, more on jiu-jitsu, like, that's where the discipline comes from. You know? So, like, other martial arts, they'll have you hold buckets of water, or they'll have you do, you know, endless katas, or, like, you know, because it's discipline, right? They're teaching you a regimen. But in jiu-jitsu, we don't have that, right? Besides the warm-up, okay?
Right.
Right. Your discipline is getting tapped.
Yeah.
And getting tapped.
And getting
Take
back
it
up.
And getting
and like
tapped.
it.
Right. You don't gotta love it, but you gotta like it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I told him that Luke Oak,
Yeah.
who was 15 years old when I was 24, my first day in jiu-jitsu, mounted me and I couldn't get him off me.
Yeah.
And I was a bouncer. I was a 24-year-old bouncer and couldn't get a high school sophomore off of me.
Yeah.
Mauled me. And it was like, I had two choices now. Either be embarrassed and be like, I'll never go back there because that's embarrassing to get beat up by a sophomore, or go, I want to know what he knows.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. 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 Luke Oak, a.k.a. The Beast. Remember that? That was his nickname?
Psycho. That kid was so good.
Yeah. He was. He was.
jumps out of airplanes for a living, or he did anyway for a while.
Right. Right. He was in the military.
Yeah.
Is he still, or does anyone know?
I have no idea.
I haven't seen him in so long.
Right. Me neither.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about them. Like, I hadn't seen Aaron in forever, and then like he popped up somewhere, and he was like in Asia, living there.
Right, like the Philippines and whatnot.
Yeah, he's living in the Philippines.
Just like
teaching him
just
how to like not die of malaria.
Right.
like
right.
what? How cool?
Yeah.
Like how? That's alpha shit to me.
Yeah.
That's alpha shit.
Yeah.
Alpha shit isn't like beating up a dude here at Walmart.
Right.
Alpha shit is like just doing whatever the fuck you want to do because life isn't gonna stop you.
Yeah.
And that's like
We're only given so much time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like the bullshit you go through, like every fucking setback, you know, every world life changing event is just like the dues you pay for the gift of life.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
because there's some really amazing moments. You know, we've all been kidnapped by sorority girls. As an initiation to get into their sorority. And then there's days where, you know, you lose a family member, you know, you lose a loved one, and that's the shit that happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
Do you think you've made... I already know the answer. So you think you've made more memorable connections because of your work experience, or do you think you've made more memorable connections because of jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Without doubt.
Wow.
Like, it's just, it doesn't even come
Let's go to war.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, I remember, you know, moments like promotional nights and just where, like, I remember JD, who you train, big scary dude, and I remember how strong he was and how I got him and how good that feeling was.
Yeah.
And then I remember getting tooled by some dude from like Hoist Gracie school, and I was like, you know, like, so there's all those moments that you remember, but then you make those connections with like, I got a job with JD. I worked with him at Sin City for a little while, and like, you know what I mean? Like I gotta, you know, I have Raph, who I've gotten a job as a bouncer at every Coco, at every club I've ever worked at. You know what I mean? So you make all these connections, and you bring those people into your personal life, because everybody's different in jiu-jitsu, but we're all the same. We're all there because we have that kind of competitiveness in us, and it's just way more connections in jiu-jitsu, way more.
Sure.
Way more.
I forgot about you and JD worked together for a minute. He's like the sales manager for like
Nissan.
George Hart Nissan. Yeah, George Hart Nissan. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he's got a kid on the way, or he just had one.
And that's cool. Like, you think about too, like all the people who, like, in this community too, we're kind of like, we keep our money within each other if we can. Like, if there's an electrician and
No, for sure.
and he trains, like, I think it's Gil. You know, I don't know what he does, but there's like certain people. If you know that there's a guy who trains at the Dog, or there's a guy who trains at your school.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like, let me call him.
Right.
Because number one, you kind of already know you won't get screwed because of that connection.
Right.
But then also, let's give each other like.
The business.
Yeah, hell
It
yeah.
helps.
Yeah, keep it in the family.
It helps.
Yeah, you make a ton of connections in all aspects through jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. When are you trying it?
I'm sorry.
Huh? Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. You know.
I was telling him I'm coming back. I'm like, they got Raph does a little thing with Fabiano. I'm like, yo, I gotta like low key train somewhere for like 2-3 months before I even try to go to there. Because like going to his school will be like trial by fire. I'm gonna get the shit kicked out of me again.
Right.
But like going there.
But you're not getting your shit kicked out in front of your girlfriend. Right? Like, I'm gonna get beat up, but I'm just not gonna get beat up in front of my girl.
By a dude who's gonna be at my barbecue like in 2 months. No, but like it's like trial by volcano, because like all those guys are black belts.
Yeah.
At least at Chris's school, you'll get like a good like
There's a
mix
mixture.
of exactly. So it's like, all right, I can get back into it with somebody who's maybe not at my level and get a little bit of confidence. Then I get the shit kicked out of me like I really need to learn.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? You know.
But it is crazy that like there are people that like I said, like the Luke Oaks, and there's these guys who look so unassuming. That's why I don't want to fight anybody ever, because you like if this teaches you something, don't underestimate.
Don't underestimate.
Sure.
Because like there's dudes who would like come up to me and talk shit to Raph, when we were bouncing, and I'd be like, bro,
you got this all
bring that
twisted.
here.
Bring that all that fire right here, dude.
I'm still gonna beat the shit out of you, but a lot less than he would. He will kill you.
Fear the guy who doesn't look like he belongs.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You know, a lot of people have said it, and then I think Joe Rogan even talked about it one time, but it's the truth. Like, you don't know. Like, you have no idea. Like, whatever, man, just, maybe you shouldn't. Like, to me, I think the moment someone, like, it's like, why? Like, he came up pretty quick. He's thinking, maybe he can fight.
Well, there was Rogan was that. There's that old video of him where he's like, it's after a show, and there was like some dude from the audience, like, you know, outside the arena was heckling him.
Yeah.
And then Rogan was like, if you touch me again, I'm gonna choke the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, huh? And he like pulled him right into a headlock,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and he held him there until the guy like tapped out, you know, and then he just let him go. And then he was like, see, man, see why you don't touch people? See, like, that's how it happened. And he was trying to be super cool and chill, but like, you were like, he's gonna kill this guy.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, you don't know who. I mean, think about it. Like, whenever I go out, I try not to wear any jiu-jitsu or MMA type clothing. I just wear regular stuff. You know what I mean? I'm wearing Crocs sometimes, right? You can test if you want. It's probably not going to go the way you think. And I'm going to make sure and do everything I can to make sure it doesn't go that way for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
sure. But it's worse than a gun. You know what I mean? Because, like, a gun, it prints. There's a profile. You know what I mean? You can see it. You don't... Listen, what, ears? Not everyone has cauliflower ears. Not everybody. And, like, jiu-jitsu attracts the guy who has been competitive all of his life. It also attracts nerds. I know some dudes who, like, literally, in my spare time I like to do this, I play some chess and I paint and I dream it. And he will choke you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again.
Because it's so complicated. That's the thing. Like, it should attract those guys because it's a
lot of engineers.
It's so complicated.
Yeah.
It's so complicated. It's simple but complicated. Like, you have so many ways to, if this happens and this happens, and it's a puzzle.
Human chess.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like, I mean, I love all of them. I love the weapon arts, the striking arts, but to do striking, there comes a point where you've got to be like, and to get good at it, you got to be like, all right, I'm ready. Come punch me. I'm gonna punch you back. We're gonna do this, and after a while, you get good at it. But with jiu-jitsu, you don't have to get punched. So, like, it's a certain individual who's like, punch me, let's headbutt each other and elbows and knees. But the jiu-jitsu person, it's completely different. He could be more cerebral. And next thing you know,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just a different
And the
game.
good thing about jiu-jitsu is, like, striking, everybody can get lucky.
Yeah.
Right? So
there's
striking,
no lucky submissions.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, striking, anybody can get lucky. So you can be piecing some dude up and he swings and catches you.
Yeah.
Every situation so far in my life, bouncing, whatever, where it's gone to the ground, it's been like, it was like weirdly easy.
Yeah.
Because they have no idea. Like, they give you their back. They literally look up, like, push their arms off the ground and look up, and you're just like,
it is weird.
all right? Like, it's just like, how is this? So, it's so different. Nobody's going to get a lucky tap on you.
Right.
If they don't know jiu-jitsu.
Right. Right.
They can't swing around and catch an armbar.
Yeah. Anybody can throw a punch. Not everyone can flying armbar. Yeah. Yeah. Or just even regular armbar.
Right.
Or head and arm choke. Or triangle choke.
Execute a foot trip to Kimura, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
the
basic of most basic, like, I'm going to take you to the ground right now in a professional setting.
Yeah.
That's why, like, a 2-week white belt pretty much is, like, armed for 95% of the people in the world. Right?
At a real school, right? Like, if you're training at a real academy.
You know, I used to tell people, like, people would say, well, what should I train? What should I do? And it's like, I always think, do all of it. And check it all out. It's a blast. It's a great ride. But if you think about it, if you are the type of guy who minds your business, if you earn a blue belt and that's all you are about is just minding your own business, you're probably never going to lose a street fight again.
Yeah.
You're probably never going to.
Yeah. You know how to cover, clinch the guy, leg trip.
Yeah.
You're going to ride him.
You're probably set for life. If you're a purple belt and you mind your business, you could actually start some shit. You know what I mean?
You can mind other people's business now.
I don't like the way you talk to that guy over there. I'm offended for him.
Yeah. And you're going to be good.
Yeah.
You're going to be good. You know?
I always figured if you were a blue or a purple belt
Yeah.
and you're rolling still actively and you box or kickbox 2 days a week, you're a handful.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a handful.
You're more than it.
You know what I mean?
You're more than
Yeah.
it.
You're boxing
Yeah.
2 days a week. You're doing jiu-jitsu 2 days a week.
You're
You
a
know?
problem.
You're a problem.
I feel like
because most people are not about that life.
do you like when you've gotten physical altercations though, like I feel like I've just always like single like the guy. Like almost every situation. I've never like stood and like platformed with a guy like ready to fight. Like I've always it's like the minute it's gotten physical, I just dump him.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm not even thinking about doing it. It just like.
So for me, I was always careful about dumping people because of where we were working. The floor,
you catch like malaria.
the floor, yeah. But the floor is hard, and I've seen people's heads crack open. So
Ooh.
I'm cautious about how they fall, especially if they're intoxicated, right? So sometimes the quick little jab or the arm, you know what I mean? If I'm walking them out with the stiff arm, something like that for me, you know, it was always kind of better. I'll dump people at the door. I don't want to dump them inside because then we have to get them back up and then out, right? So that's how that goes. But you know, usually they see the door and then that's when the action happens, right? They'll take that sucker punch or they'll turn around, don't touch me. You know, like, and then they want you to belly bump them, but I'm not gonna belly bump you, bro. I'm gonna grab you by the fucking neck, okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab you by either your dick or your neck, all right? And we're going out the fucking door.
Yeah.
Because you have to defend one. You can't defend both. You know what I mean? Right. And so if you're saving your junk, I'm gonna headbutt you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay? And if you go for your throat, I'm just gonna squeeze. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, and you're going out the fucking door, dude.
Yeah.
You know? We are beyond. Especially if we're talking some shit where, like, the guy throws a glass at the bartender. You know what I mean? When we're talking, like, that kind of level stuff, right? Or, you know, you tell the guy 2 times, I told you to put your fucking knife in the car.
Yeah.
Why do you need a knife? Look at all the bouncers here. This is why we're here. You know?
It's like, for me, I feel like it's just default. For me, I've always been like,
It's you're
get
comfortable with, so
him
go for
off
it.
his feet.
Yeah.
Get him off his feet, get him on the ground. And I don't even have to follow him to the ground. It's just get him to the ground. Like, speaking of throwing stuff at the bar, guy threw a bottle at Debbie. Now, I don't know if it was... He did something to Debbie, and she, like, threw something at him, and I think he threw something back. Chris went to go get him, and he started tussling with Chris. So I came up from the DJ booth behind them both and just dumped them both.
Yeah.
Like, boom. Both you go on the ground. And then the guy got up and came back at me, and I dumped him again. And it was like, by the second, and I feel like this happened almost all the time. The first time they think, oh, I tripped. Mm-hmm. But the second time they come at you, and then before they know it, they're like, the fuck just happened? They're back up, like, looking at the ceiling.
Angles in the air.
They're like, oh, shit, like, I don't want any more problems. Like, I swear it's kind of like, I don't want to say something that's not true. I don't think I've ever swung a punch as a bouncer. I don't know if you've ever seen me. I could be wrong, but I don't think I have. I think I've smashed, I've grabbed, I've thrown, I've dragged. I don't think I've ever. I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of. I still have this irrational fear in my head that I'm going to hit somebody, and they're going to be dead, and then I'm catching a homicide charge. Like, not that I'm too powerful. No, they just have like an issue.
Sure. I kicked the dude out. And he was outside. And then Russell was there, Jay Lurch was there, and Sam Ayala was sitting behind me. Okay? And so I'm turning, and it was Sam Ayala's first time, you know, at the joint. So I'm just like, kind of like talking to her, and we're like joking around or whatever. Okay? And then she's just like, Orlando. And I turn and I look back, and the dude that I just kicked out had opened the door and was running. It was like the Saturday before Easter. Okay? And he just comes right at me, and I just turned, and he's clearly running at me with aggression. So I just turned and I popped him once. One time, the dude fell, split his head open.
Yeah, scary shit.
You know? Right. And I looked right at my boy, and I was just like, do not let me spend the fucking Easter in jail, dude. You know what I mean?
That's scary shit.
But because after being ejected, he came back in and it was on video. He's coming at me with force. I hit him one time to defend myself. Right? Like, sorry to hear about your bad luck, dude.
Yeah.
You know, a thing happens with
I think my
drunks.
attorney would say the same thing.
You know, a messed up thing happens with drunks, and that is like they'll get into a fight, they'll get beat up, and they'll leave, and then they might go someplace else. So, when I was working at the vault, we threw out a guy. This dude was huge, and for whatever reason, once we got him outside, as we were bringing him outside, my roommate who used to work with us, he trips the dude, but he didn't tell me he was tripping him. So me and this other guy, Reggie, are dragging this dude out. My roommate sticks his foot out. The dude falls, but I'm holding on. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I remember I face first on the ground, and me and this guy make eye contact. And I'm thinking, oh shit. I yank his jacket over his head, and I just started throwing punches. I panicked, you know, like, because I can't let him get up first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so, we get separated. The other bouncers grab him, and I don't know what happened. He issued a threat, and I just snapped. I run towards him. They grab me, and we had our bouncer jackets on. So I slipped right out of that, and I threw one more shot. They grabbed me, and then now we're separated. About 2 weeks later, a woman comes up asking questions. And they're like, yeah, da 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 da. And luckily, this guy was, I don't know, maybe he was drunk and disoriented, or maybe he just lied at the time and didn't get the story right. But, like, they were looking for me. They were looking to sue me. And fortunately, I don't know, who wants to say they got beaten up by a little guy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they were looking for me.
Yeah.
And I have reason to believe, because they showed pictures of him, and I'm like, I didn't hit him like that. So I think he went to another bar.
Got beat up.
And got beat up. Because I've seen that happen.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, where, like, people do that. Like, pop, 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 they get beat up here. All right, whatever, I'm going to go to the next place. I've seen that happen like 3 times with people, where like they'll get tossed out of a spot, and like, I'll go to the next bar, and next thing you know,
Get the shit beat out.
yeah,
It's kind of crazy if you think about it, because there's so many parallels between bouncing and actually being an insurance broker. Because the industry, like, stereotype is the bouncers are there to like beat people up and throw them out. But really, we're avoiding liability. We're avoiding lawsuits.
Yeah.
That's your job. So bottle on the ground breaks. Everybody clear out the way. Nobody step on it, get hurt, sue the club. Fight breaks out, break it up so nobody gets too hurt and sues the club. Your whole job is trying
to keep the club open.
Yeah, keep the club open, not get a lawsuit. You know what I mean? But it's like, it's crazy.
It's a world of chaos.
Yeah,
and there's drunk people being drunk.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You know what I mean?
And like, especially at where we came from, like, it was a weird balance because you had the customers who were
Money.
crazy and wrong a lot of the time, but then you had the people who also worked there wrong a lot of the time. But the politics of it all is
The house wasn't always right.
Yeah,
you know?
it was crazy, man.
Yeah.
Crazy and you have to
house.
you have to play the line and kind of like, how do I make her happy because she's gonna pay us at the end of the night,
Right.
and how do I make him happy because if he doesn't pay her, she can't pay us.
And we need him to come back.
It was
that's a unique balance,
Can't lose him, can't lose her.
right?
and there
Yeah.
was like no
Mediator.
honor.
Yeah.
There was no honor among thieves in that business at all. Like there was no like, it's already dirty enough. The adult entertainment industry, it's dirty enough. Let's not make it dirtier. Let's just like, you know,
First level of the sex industry. It really is. It's like the kindergarten, right? It's where you start.
It is kindergarten.
Yeah, it's where you get your wings.
Yeah.
Because then you get comfortable and you're like, I think I could do this on film. Then you're you know?
Wow. Yeah.
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 but you're really like supposed to be there as the person to avoid lawsuits.
Sure.
But most of the time, you're the exact reason they get sued.
I wouldn't say most.
Well, no, not you, meaning like
Yeah.
you or me or him, but most nightclubs are getting sued because the bouncer was too rough.
Right. Right.
You know, and that's like, you push a drunk guy, it's awkwardly easy, and like it's like a fucking caricature of a fall. Like they fall and tumble and get up and fall again, and you're like, bro, I like.
Yeah.
But they're so drunk that it's like 17 seconds of falling.
Yeah. I have seen that. I've seen that where one of the guys we worked with, and I'm like, oh no. Bop, bop, bop. I'm like, oh.
Go talk to the guy at Pig's Eye in Hartford.
That's terrible. That is terrible. So I have one more question, and it has nothing to do with insurance, although at some point maybe insurance will become part of the discussion. But this is for you, or about you. So, how did you sell you to her? No, I just kidding.
I didn't have to.
Okay.
I dropped my W-2. Oh, sorry. Let me pick that back up. I don't know if you saw that there.
So how did you guys meet?
Crazy story. So, Facebook dating.
What?
Yeah. I'm on the phone with my brother.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you ever met my foster brother, Sean. But he's single. He was like dating. He's like, yo, there's this Facebook dating thing. And you can kind of vet the person a little bit because you see if you have mutual connections with them because it's Facebook. So you know they're usually a real person.
Yeah.
Because they're local. I'm like, no way. I download Facebook dating. She's my first match.
Wow.
That's wild.
Wow.
That's wild.
She's my first match. I think I messaged her, what's up, or you one of us messaged, probably me, and then it was crazy because it was like pre-Christmas, maybe a week before Christmas, and we just said, what's up, how you doing? It was like a quick conversation, and then she was going back to Jersey or something, and then like 3 days later, I hit her up, like, how was Christmas? We talked for another day, and then like maybe 3-4 days after that, we had planned to maybe get up. I was like, yo, here's my number, call me. And then I didn't hear back from her. So I'm like, oh, all right, cool. So I'm like, is she real? Is it, because we have no mutual connections, right? I'm like, maybe.
Is this some guy in India trying
yeah,
to get
who knows?
pictures of my dick?
Yeah. You don't have to trick me, sir. I'm ready. You want to FaceTime? No, like, so, but then I sent her a picture of, like the Kevin Hart, like that meme.
Yeah.
The you ate ass face. Like,
Yeah.
Because I was like, call me. She's like, yeah, I'm going to call you. And I never heard from her. So like 3 days later, I hit her with like the, like that. And then she called me.
Wow.
Right? We like pretty much. And then she could tell the story. I did her dirty. How we first met. I hustled this shit out of her, yeah.
Did you make her pay for
Let's meet
dinner?
up at this Dunkin' Donuts. I'm like, oh yeah. Sure.
I said, where do you live?
Okay.
She goes, I live in Windsor.
Okay.
I go, cool. I live in Middlefield. She doesn't know. I know she knows nothing about Connecticut.
Right. Okay.
So, go ahead.
Not a bad reason.
So he's like, let's meet at this Dunkin' Donuts. He sends me the address.
It's in the middle.
Come to find, oh yeah, it's in the middle.
Where?
Of us, I tell
No,
her.
no, where? What's the middle?
Well, it's not the middle.
Come
Right.
to find out, it was 5 minutes from his house. A 30-minute drive from mine.
I had to make sure she was real.
Terrible.
So, and then we just had coffee.
That's awesome.
That was New Year's Eve. And then we just hung out for like an hour and a half having coffee, talking to Duncan. And then she hit me up. She went back to Jersey to spend New Year's Eve. In the Haitian culture, New Year's Eve is like a big deal.
Okay.
Like you be with your family and like you do you pray into the new year. So she went back to Jersey. Then she hit me up and she was like, you want me to come back tonight? I was like, nah, chill, yeah.
I said I could come back.
and then we hung out 2 weeks, maybe a week later, went for wings, and then the rest is, it was like ever since then we were talking every day, and then and then she gave me the Rona like a month later, and that's what brought us together.
And that's it, the Rona.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Oh, man.
There's no proof.
Because I've known you for a while, a long time.
Yeah.
And, relationships come and go. But from what I've seen, and I mean, people sell all kinds of craziness on social media.
Yeah, yeah.
But, like, you seem legit happy. Good for
I
you,
am.
man.
Thank you.
Good
And
for
you know what it is that was me, though. Like, I'm not happy because she makes me happy. I'm happy because I fixed my shit. That was making me deal with girls that I shouldn't have dealt with.
Right on.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there was toxic traits about me
Yeah.
that made me comfortable around toxic chicks. And until I worked that stuff out with, like, how I behaved,
Right.
I wasn't ready for somebody like her. I would have ruined that relationship. Like, with her, I would have... Bro,
Right.
you met me in 2008, 2007, whatever. She would have lasted 3 days with me. Get away from me.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's changed quite a bit. I would like to add ditto.
Yeah.
I'm vastly different than 2008.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Precise.
That's awesome. So, I think the three of us, and you can come back too, please. We have to do another one because we got to talk about the bouncer life.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Because we talked a little bit, but I think people would definitely like to hear about, like, hear some war stories, but also hear, like,
The importance of training.
And also the secondary and the tertiary skills. Like, you and I have talked about it just BSing, where it's like, yeah, you know what? Threat assessment.
Right.
Or even how to deal with a possible threat. Or where to place
Approach.
this is a legit threat. He's nothing. I just gotta buy him a drink. He'll be good.
Right.
This dude needs to go now.
Right.
And there's all those different levels.
levels.
And I think people...
Because again, right, we're avoiding lawsuits.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the goal.
You could tell usually, I swear, especially where we were at the door, like, I could tell a guy who's going to be problem after he drinks by how he behaves when he's not drunk.
Yeah. Totally.
And I can also tell a lot by how when you tell a person a cover charge, how they respond to it.
Yeah.
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 If
they're
he
like,
thinks he's too good for it,
Yeah.
you're like, this guy's going to be a dick.
Here we go.
What's always been funny about that is dude's complaining about a cover charge. But he's already been trying to floss since before he even got there.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, dude, you pulled up in like a $60,000 BMW. You want to complain about $5?
Yeah.
Just pay,
If
don't
you're
come
coming
in.
to a strip club
Yeah.
and you're mad about a cover, bro, this ain't the place for you. Because these broads about to extort you for
Yeah.
everything you got.
They're
Right.
good.
And they're better than any of us.
They're
Yeah.
like them and the Russian hackers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that
They're
prince
gonna
in
empty the
Zimbabwe.
pocket, G.
Wait till strippers start selling insurance. It's over.
They'll be taking bit.
Everybody got liability.
Yeah. They'll be like, oh no.
Let me tell you what you need, Daddy. You need $75,000. All right. All right.
You got full coverage on a car that you don't even own.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
So,
man, it's you could the bouncer. We definitely got to do an episode on that.
we will. So we're gonna schedule this very, very soon. Bro, I'm happy you came through because it's been a long time since I've seen you.
Yeah, like over a year. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
And like, I'm in a good place in my life, but you guys have known me for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, anytime you've known somebody for 10 years or more, like, it says a lot. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it's I'm happy that you guys are still around and that we're all still around, and that even if it's a hey, what's up, a quick, those things matter. They kind of nourish your soul.
Absolutely. We all know like who's who.
Yeah.
We like I tell her this all the time because she, coronavirus made everybody chill at home.
Yeah.
Like you don't really hang out with everybody all the time.
Right.
But like I know who's who.
Yeah.
There's certain people we're gonna hang out. We're picking up like we never left off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's still the same, like, I know I'm calling you at 3:30 in the morning.
Yep.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that you, like, I'm on my way?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know I haven't
Yeah.
seen you in 3.5 years. I'm on my way.
Yeah.
I'm coming. I got you. Where are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Funny thing too is, you had the Friendsgiving, and that. So like, if you were to hear my version of the story, that might have been like our Missy and I's first date.
Really?
Might have been kinda ish. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
By the way, side note, shout out to Patrice O'Neal. God rest his soul. I don't know if you know who that is. But he's like, how come to my girl, we've been together 10 months, to me, 3 months?
yeah. but you had invited me, and he was like, you can bring somebody, and we had been hanging out. She and I had been, were friends. And I knew I liked her, you know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure she liked me too, but, like, women have that thing, they have common sense when it comes to, like, stepping in a relationship sometimes, or at least the good ones do. I probably should not have said that. I'm going to get canceled.
She's good. She's good.
So she's good, but, like, some other woman's going to be like, but it was, so I brought her, and then you pulled me aside and said, yo, that's that wifey? And I was like, I'm working on it.
That's what's up. That was the first time you would be like, you presented yourself as a unit.
Yeah.
As a team.
Yeah. So, again, man, thank you for everything. And thank you, Orlando, for showing up. And thank you. I have that bright
legal
light.
advice.
Yeah.
Off camera.
Right.
We'll flash that contact info at the end.
So
$1,000 an hour.
And we'll do one last thing because we have to do this, and that is really the absolute last thing, and that is, what is your business now?
I work for Renewal by Anderson. I am in home construction, windows, doors, things like that, bay windows, patio doors, entry doors, windows, all that stuff.
All right. And is there a way that someone can get in touch with you if they wanted to?
Call me directly. 203-935-7909.
All right. So if you guys got that number, hopefully you write it down or rewind it. And I'm telling you, this is a good man. He's got a good heart.
Thank you.
You can trust him. And that's not BS. That's, like, seriously, like, I love these guys.
I got these windows, man.
I got
that double
I'm not going to do that for a window. I know what comes after that.
I got that double pane. What you need?
So, so if you guys do need help with your windows and your doors, hit him up. I mean it. He'll be glad you did.
Appreciate that.
And for everybody who listened and sat through the podcast with us, thank you so much. And, peace, love, and happiness to you guys. Later.
Woo. Peace.